These are just beginning breathing exercises. You work on your back a little, your shoulders, get the breathing moving. Not that hard when you look at it. Maybe it's a little harder for you to do, trying to get your hands to do all that. The next thing I'm going to try to do is show you to do something that's going to require a little more thought and effort and engagement of what we're doing. Okay? So what we're going to do from here, we're going to, again, have the feet about shoulder width apart. I have this big ball, and I'm going to spin the ball. When I get to my opposite hip, my hand's in my opposite shoulder. My bottom hand's going to come in on the inside. I'm going to reach up to the ceiling. Same time that one reaches up, my other hand goes the opposite direction and down. So again, here's this big ball. A lot of these exercises are all about a ball, because a ball is balanced, and it's an easy symbol to relate to, and that, you know, this shape is balanced and it's just a circle. So I'm going to spin that ball. In the meantime, I'm going to get a little stretch when my arm comes across, a little stretch when my hand comes across to here. My bottom hand comes in, reach up to the ceiling, like I'm trying to stretch my shoulder all the way up. And then my other arm's going to push down. Where do we look? Well, I want you to try to look up towards that top hand. Hopefully not towards the lights, the lights in your eyes. And then relax and come back. So now I have the ball again. Knees are bent. Spin the ball the other direction. Hand to the right, hand to the left. Bottom hand comes on the inside. And when I'm doing this, I'm thinking that I'm trying to make my body as long as possible. I'm not just stretching. I'm trying to really get as long and tall as I can. The other hand isn't just at my side. I'm really trying to touch the ground with it. Am I going to reach either one? No, I'm not going to touch the ceiling. I'm not going to touch the floor. But I'm trying to do that. You're going to feel your back and your shoulders stretch. And then try to look up. Usually the look up part is where some of you might feel like your balance needs a little help. So you just relax and you do what you can. Look up. So we're back to the ball. Everybody's got the ball again, right? When I come across to the opposite side, I want you to dip your chin and round your back. Hand comes in, my back starts to straighten up with that arm. As I come up, I'm going to inhale. As I go to look up, I'm going to exhale. Knees are bent, arms are bent. And we have a little better balance with your knees being bent. Come back real smooth to where we have the ball. Go the other way. Spin the ball, dip your chin, round your back. As that bottom arm comes up, my back straightens. Press to the ceiling, try to inhale. When I go to exhale, I bend my elbows, I bend my knees, bend my hips, and look up. And relax and come back. Next one, go wider. Put your hands with your thumbs on the outside, fingers on the inside. Dip forward like you're trying to bring your chin down towards the ground. When we come up, chin up. Down, chin down. If that's okay and you're comfortable doing that, still come up, chin up. When we come down, try to bring your left shoulder across to the right side of your body. And then we'll come back to the center again. So here you arch your back, kind of like a horseback. Inhale. When you come down, you're going to round your back, like a turtle. Like a turtle's got a nice round back, turtle back. And then reach across. Inhale, look up. Exhale, down. If you can do this okay, shift your weight so your right knee bends, and your other leg straightens. And then we come back to the center. Inhale, shift, exhale. Back to the center. Inhale, exhale. One more. Inhale, exhale. To stand up, most of my weight is on this left side, so I slide in, I take a deep breath, and exhale. Another one. Inhale, and exhale. Okay, time for a little interaction. A couple questions got to ask you. How important is your spine to the reason why you're in this class here today? Why is that? part of it. Everybody here has Parkinson's disease or something relative to that. It's all connected. Your spine houses your spinal column. Spinal column is where all the nerves are at, your nervous system. Parkinson's disease affects your nervous system. From what I've understood, that's why things are starting to happen and why you're not comfortable as you used to be. When we do all these exercises, I'm asking you to round your back, arch your back, stretch your back, twist your back. The back is getting exercise, but it's not the muscles so much. We want the spinal column to actually be getting movement and the spine, the nerves to be stimulated so that, again, we can try to achieve that balance that we're lacking. I'm 50 years old. I am not in perfect shape. I'm in pretty good shape, though. A couple things I got to work on still. My knee, my neck, shoulder, I have daily issues if I don't exercise regularly. You all are here because you have a different set of issues. They will get better, but again, you got to try and give it a chance. You got to let the exercises do what they're supposed to do. People have been doing these things for thousands of years. I've only been here 50 years. What do I know? I've been doing the exercises for 34 years, and I'm in fairly good shape, so I can just kind of do that equation and say, well, something I'm doing must be working. It's gotten me to this point. So if you have any questions for yourself, whether or not you can do these things, if you can sit in a chair, you can do the exercises. If you can sit in a bed or lay in a bed, you can do the exercises. It's just a matter of what level you're able to do it at. Do you have any questions, or you want to try some more things? Sure. Yes. Yeah, there's a few different reasons and methods to how you do it. Each one has pros and cons. If you inhale through your nose, you're breathing in filtered air. So filtered air is usually better for your body. That's why we have a nose in the nasal passages. But it also brings oxygen towards your brain when you do the inhale. You do the exhale, it's through your mouth because you're getting rid of the carbon dioxide or the impurities that are trying to be expelled from your body. So that's why we filter it in. Just let it all go. We don't need to filter it on the way out. When you do that mouth open and closed, it allows you to bring your tongue up to the roof of your mouth. When you inhale, and your tongue goes down to the bottom of your mouth when you exhale. And there's a whole bunch of reasons why we do that. One of them is the Chinese understand these theories of meridians, how the energy goes through the body. One of the main meridians is through the center of your body, through your legs up to back. You can feel in between your nose and your lip. If you take your fingers and go side to side, you feel it's a little sensitive right there. If you go a little bit up on that same spot, back and forward, it's even more sensitive. Right below your lip, right in the center there. You do the same thing, go back and forth, and then go on a little bit of an angle down, like you're pinching down, and you'll feel that spot. You can go right in the center, top of your throat, bottom of your throat, bottom of the sternum, solar plexus, navel, groin. All those spots line up. They're sensitive. Well, the self-defense view is those are all spots you try to attack somebody, or you try to protect those spots on your body. From the energy and the health point of view, that's the main track that all the energy goes in your body. And then from there it goes out into other meridians. So with the tongue going up and down, what it's doing, it's stimulating that meridian, that energy. Now if I told everybody here, okay, you got to get into a position and get real solid and stable, I'm pretty sure all of you would instinctively close your mouth, swallow, and then exhale. That's what we do when we do something stressful. If you're coming up to a stop sign, you hit the brakes real quick. Usually your mouth closes, you gulp, you swallow, and then you relax. That's what fighters do. You see them fighting in the boxing ring, they tilt their head, they close their mouth, they get set. It's instinctive, and it all comes back to our tongue and our mouth going up and down. So that's the long explanation to a short question. So when we're doing these exercises, that's what I want you to do. I want you to inhale, tongue goes up, you feel saliva, you exhale, tongue goes down, the breath comes out, and you relax. And it's almost like each time you sink down a little bit more. Sinking has to do with your center of gravity. If you're standing up here all the time and doing things with your body upright, your center of gravity is kind of high. if we're relaxed and we move from down here, from that center of gravity, your body's more relaxed and sunken. Well, it just so happens that that center of gravity is also where one of your energy centers is at. We have 3 main energy centers in the body. One's here, your thought, you have your heart, you have your lower energy center. Again, this is Chinese theory relative to martial arts and how to keep the body healthy. So, does that answer your question? Probably a little bit extra, right? If you ask, I'll tell you, but a lot of times we just go from one thing to the next. What was your question? Yes. We can. There are some exercises where you use it to kind of give you a visual of moving the ball and also to give you just a little bit of resistance. Okay? Sometimes we do exercise where the ball gets heavier, and that leads you more to like the martial end of the training, which is more about strength and fitness and ability to be able to defend yourself. When we do it for more of the exercises, it would be either empty or just a light ball. Something that you use like a beach ball, something with no weight to it. But yeah, all those weights and different things and all that apparatus over there, sometimes people think like, oh, there's a new thing, they just came out with that. Well, a lot of those type of things have been around for years. People just use weights or rocks or stones or elastic, things have been around for a very long time. So there's apparatus that we can use. You don't necessarily need it though. Did you have a question? Yep. Same idea of how the energy goes. When you breathe all through your nose, you don't let your mouth dry out. Okay? When the mouth stays closed, you keep the saliva in, there's not as much air passing over your tongue, so your mouth stays moist the whole time. Why is that important? Well, as you keep doing these exercises, you don't want to be distracted. You want to be thinking about what you're doing with this. If all of a sudden your mouth is so dry, you're like, God, I gotta go get a drink. I'm just dying in there. It's a distraction. So that is a different way to breathe. Most of the time I'll have you do in through your nose, out through your mouth, because it gets more of that energy moving in your body. All of the things that we're doing is about energy and fitness. I'm not going to do any self-defense unless for some reason someone pulls me outside and says, Jim, I'd really like to learn how to defend myself or something. That's not what we're here for, though. What were you going to say? Mm-hmm. Right? Everything goes back to the spine. The way we work on balance, you can all sit down. You don't need to stand if your legs are getting tired. If you like to stand, be my guest. I can stand for a long time, but I don't expect you to. So if you want to grab a seat, feel free to. Balance is a combination of 3 major things. One of them is having the flexibility to adjust your center of gravity and knowing where that's at. Okay? If you're just so tight that you're always walking like this, it's like you're a pencil, a sharpened pencil, and you're trying to stand it on end. It's not going to stand too easily on end because you got that little point on the bottom, right? So as you get more flexible, like we just did those exercises, you get a little better range of motion, and you learn to adjust where your center of gravity is at. So that's the first one, flexibility. Second one for balance is you got to have a little bit of strength. Are we talking weightlifter strength or athlete strength? No, just enough strength that you can hold that position long enough to make the body develop and get stronger from it. Some of the other positions that I'll show you is where we're standing on one leg and then you bend the supporting leg a little bit. So this leg gets stronger. When you can do exercises on one leg, when you have 2 feet on the ground, your balance is that much better. Sometimes we'll start those exercises where you have a support with a wall. You're just trying to lift your leg up to get more flexibility, to feel more comfortable with that range, and then start to pull the hand off the wall. So that's the second thing. I'm sorry, what were you going to say? Yeah. Putting your pants on, putting socks on. Now, some of that is balance, but also some of that is your flexibility too, of your shoulders and your back and your legs in order to be able to do that. So it's all connected. But back to the balance. You got flexibility, being able to move and adjust your center of gravity. You need a little bit of strength. The third thing is you need to know where your awareness is at, where you're looking, where you're thinking. If I have all of you try and do this right now, it'll make sense if you want to try it. If I do this and I say, let's try and balance, but I don't give you anywhere to look, and you're trying to balance and your eyes are all over the place, you're going to have a very hard time balancing. But if I say, I need a good object here that you can see. I say, look at the back of that chair and then try to balance. Are y'all trying it? There's the chair. Shift your weight, but keep your eye on that chair. Hold your arm to the side. Put your other hand by your underarm. Now still keep your eyes on the chair. Try to lift your leg. If you can lift it, try and lift it higher. Now if you take your eyes off the chair and look at something else, chances are your balance will be diminished. So those three things that we do throughout all the exercises we did, we work on our flexibility, we work on our strength, and for the most part, I'm always showing you kind of like where your eyes should be. That will make your balance get better. Yeah. It won't be easy. It's going to take practice, but by doing those kind of exercises, it'll get better from doing it. So, the other thing that you had said about putting your shoes on or whatever, a lot of that has to do with the flexibility of your back and your hamstrings. So by doing something like we just did now, did you feel in the back of your legs at all? Back here? Something like here too, this stretches the front side of your leg. You just try to go up and down slowly. This part gets stretched, the hamstring. This part, the quadricep, gets stretched from doing the other side. You can try this too. So remember I said the grid? Put your foot on one of the lines, and then the other line should be maybe about 2 or 3 lines away. Front foot is straight, back foot is on an angle. And then what we'll do to stretch is drop from your hip. And you'll feel back here on this side you'll feel more on the front. And then come back up. Now these are all martial arts exercises, but they're good for your hips and your knees and your back. So from here, sink your hip down, and then back up. Now if I keep my head straight and my back fairly straight, now it ends up being more of a back exercise too. Whereas if I was here, it takes all the stretch, all the tension off my back, and slowly back up. To go to the other side, I'll shift forward like this. And then I'll step again on that grid, maybe 3 lines apart, turn the back foot out. And wherever your knee is at, you always want to keep it in the same line as your foot and your hip. In other words, you don't want your knee like out here or in here. Knee over your ankle, drop your hip. So if my back is straight, right there, everybody, I can see how you're leaning, your back is tight. Because the lower we go here, you want to take the pressure off your back. If you keep the pressure to stay straight, now I'm stretching my hamstring, my quadricep, and my lower back. And then back up. And this is a martial arts technique. This is where you punch from. This is where you block from. This is where we stretch from some of the other exercises. That's the martial arts stance. By doing those stances, you get more circulation, more flexibility, more strength, more balance. So, what's everybody think? Think these things might help, or? I don't know. I've been doing it so long, I've seen so many people get better from doing it, that I have no doubt you'll get better from doing it.